Now more than ever, America is divided. We used to be a simpler country, a country where women couldn't vote, blacks couldn't vote, and lead was a staple in the diet of the average American. That's what freedom sounds like to me. Not any of this pronoun mumbo jumbo or this clean drinking water bullshit. We used to go to war, and now America's youth is enjoying their lives and the freedoms they're afforded. Disgusting. I, for one, think something needs to change. We need to make America based again. And according to a certain individual, Thomas Matthew Crooks, the real-life personification of a soy jack, I'm not alone here. Recently, there was an assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump, most well known for his eccentric personality, gourmet steaks, and also he tried to overthrow the government. Much like the Xbox showcase or that new incest anime dropping, the attempted assassination of a former president is sure to inspire discourse amongst the internet's most brain-dead and disheveled individuals. I have made it no secret that I am a liberal and I strongly dislike Trump, but I don't feel the need to explain why or preach to you about it. If you have your own opinions, that's totally fine. I just hope you engage with what I have to say in good faith, the same way I will attempt to do here. I wasn't intending to make a video about this situation, and in reality, it isn't really about that. This video is about a 5'3" soy-consuming live streamer by the name of Destiny, aka Stephen Borelli. Mr. Stephen Buscemi is a well-known political commentary streamer who has found much success in the last few years fighting with Red Pill Manosphere creators, as well as his takes on the massive drama happening in Israel and Palestine. As a political pundit, Stephen Tortellini obviously would weigh in on the assassination attempt of the former president, and this would result in Destiny becoming public enemy #1 on Twitter for the next few days. And while I am a fan of Destiny's content and ideologically align with him on most things, there are some things I take issue with, and I wanted to talk about it here. But before we get into that, I wanted to mention that my last video about Ethan is Online has been demonetized. As to why, I'm not really too sure. It sucks too because the video is the best performing video I've ever had on this channel. History repeats itself, I suppose. But this is perfect because now I have an excuse to promote my merch store. I will be closing it in the next week or so in preparation to revamp my merch store with brand new designs, which means some of these items will not be returning. Like this Baphomet t-shirt I'm wearing right now. If you had your eyes on something, now is the time to grab it because you may never get another chance again. And it helps support my channel, as clearly at any time I am at risk of losing ad revenue. Click the link down below if you'd like to support the channel and get some epic swag in the process. Destiny would initially react to the situation stating, "I'm honestly conflicted on how to feel about the shooting, but we'll chat about it on stream tomorrow." He would continue saying, "Let me clarify. When I say conflicted, what I mean is that I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it." The implication being that he believes since conservatives and MAGA Republicans often advocate for violence, sympathy can't be shown when you get a taste of your own medicine. And I can see the logic there. We saw MAGA bros chanting "Hang Mike Pence" during the January 6th riots, something that Trump himself never condemned. We've seen tons of conservatives mock the murder of George Floyd, a man who died of cardiopulmonary arrest due to a neck compression in police custody. They mocked the assault of Paul Pelosi, husband of Nancy Pelosi, after he was attacked and nearly killed by a right-wing nutjob with a hammer. Not to mention that conservatives always talk about killing pedophiles, and Donald Trump sure loved going to Epstein's Island. I'm sure he was just there to work on his tan, guys. Don't worry about it. Destiny would continue to stir the pot a bit, saying, "If we learned anything today, I hope it's realizing the importance of principles I've stressed many times on stream before. Having a firearm means absolutely nothing if you don't spend time at the range practicing with it." Now, don't get it twisted. I love a good meme, and I've made many jokes myself about the shooting. But I'm not biased, okay? If Joe Biden dies from COVID tomorrow, I've got a few tweets and the drafts loaded up and ready to go. I find it funny that conservatives who constantly talk about the woke left not being able to make jokes without getting offended are now offended at this joke themselves. I thought nothing was off the table, right? But now we see that it's not about the right to freely express humor. It's just about being allowed to tell the jokes that you want to tell and not the ones that may be at your expense or people you sympathize with. Personally, I think it's cringe when either side pearl clutches about jokes, and you should be allowed to make jokes about whatever you want as long as there is an honest attempt at humor, of course. And once this whole shitstorm really got going, Stephen Borelli would begin to call out a few conservative figures on their hypocrisy. Four-time Weight Watchers champion and basement pisser The Quartering would begin to pearl clutch, saying, "I love just how much of a piece of garbage you can be. There is nothing to be confused conflicted about. Destiny would respond to the quartering with tweets he made about Paul Pelosi nearly being killed, showing his hypocrisy. I don't understand what the big deal about Paul Pelosi is. Dude just wanted to get down with some kinky gay sex. I thought Democrats were tolerant. The other guy had to hit him in the head with a hammer to try and cover for it. I accept you and your consensual gay sex, Paul. Now, I don't have a problem with this tweet. I actually do find it pretty funny. Yet the quartering morally grandstands about joking about an attempted assassination despite doing it himself. Now, I haven't criticized Steven Spaghetti yet in this video, but that's about to change. I understand and agree that conservatives often promote violence, in my opinion at least, and they do get away with it. But we all agree that promoting political violence is a bad thing, right? I understand the tactic Destiny is using here, but I also think that matching their crazy just makes their crazy the new norm. I understand not wanting to afford conservatives a luxury they never grant to left-leaning people, but we kind of lose ground when we essentially stoop to that level because the new standard for our political ecosystem becomes political violence is okay. Here's the thing, I fucking hate Trump. Unironically though, I do, and to be honest with you, if he was killed, I would not be too upset about it. Not that I support anyone killing him, but I really would not be too sad. In full transparency, my initial reaction to the shooting was I was disappointed that he wasn't. I'm conflicted on whether or not that's the right reaction to have, but regardless, it was the reaction I had. But yet, I feel like advocating for political violence is essentially me greenlighting any opposition to do the same. I'm not saying that's what Destiny has done here, but I'm trying to make a greater point about how we conduct ourselves when engaging in these subjects. You need to be the change that you want to see in the world, and I don't think you should match the behaviors of what I would assume Destiny would agree are poor and in bad taste. But anyways, this shit gets really messy when Destiny would react to an image that I can't show on YouTube of the bleachers at the Trump rally covered in blood. Despite Donald Trump not getting killed, somebody else at the rally did. And Destiny responded with, "All I see is Biden up one in Pennsylvania." Very edgy. Probably wouldn't have made that joke myself, but it is funny, so I give him a pass. But once again, I don't give him a pass entirely here. From what I understand, Destiny thinks that essentially supporting Trump in itself and attending his rally is not worthy of sympathy if you're killed there.
You know, I think the fact that this guy was tweeting out Putin worship makes it the most fucking hilarious misfire that could have possibly happened.
He deserved to get shot for that?
I didn't say he deserved to get shot. I'm just saying he doesn't deserve any sympathy for it, okay? And it might warrant a laugh or two.
I think you'll find that people care a lot more what you have to say when you acknowledge that there might be human, that they have some integrity, that you can kind of show a little bit of respect. I mean, you've got family members that would agree with this guy. I don't think you laugh at them being shot.
My mom and dad taught me fuck around and find out as like a first principle of how to navigate the world. So if they ended up going to a fucking rally like this, cheering for a fucking insurrectionist dude or whatever, yeah, they deserve it 50 times over. They served in the Air Force. They know better. They took an oath to the Constitution to serve this country, not to serve a fucking king.
And it's tough because I personally think Donald Trump is a traitor to this country, and I think that people that support him are traitors to the country, or at the very least, support a traitor. Maybe you think I'm a traitor for my political alignments, and that's totally fine. But I also don't think supporting a traitor or being a traitor of the country means that getting shot and killed is like a fuck around and find out situation like he claims. Obviously, it's different for Trump because he is on a higher magnitude and is a much more imposing figure, but simply being a Trump supporter in my eyes doesn't warrant getting shot and killed. Not all conservatives are evil. Some of them may be misinformed, or maybe they're brainwashed, or maybe they're right and I'm misinformed and brainwashed. It doesn't matter regardless. Because if this happened with Biden and a Biden supporter was killed, the same logic could be applied by people who believe that Biden will destroy the country in the same way that I might think Trump would. Once again, I understand the sentiment, and in a way I agree with Destiny, but not in terms of rhetoric or how he handles the topic. And I completely disagree that going to any political rally warrants a risk of being killed. I'm now going to play a clip for you of Stephen Bologna's entire argument so I don't risk misquoting him.
The fact that you say Democrats won't take responsibility for the BLM riots when people like Biden were telling people that violence is unacceptable, and then you refer to the J6 investigation as a sham, I think perfectly illustrates the issue we have. And I think that one sentence perfectly encapsulates why I'm so done trying to quote unquote play nice with conservatives. This idea that you're asking for an unlimited amount of accountability on the left when you won't even take responsibility for true things that have been documented and have happened on the right is absurd. There's no reason to play by that rule book when conservatives get to enjoy broad immunity from the dumbest possible arguments that one could ever make. When you talk about up my attitude towards the person that died and whether or not I think it's a joke or not. I think it's a joke and that there are funny things to joke about. Do I wish people would die? Do I encourage people to go out and engage in acts of violence? No, and I've explicitly said no, I don't. But do I feel sympathy for people that get killed supporting a dictator, supporting a guy who, you know, tried to lead an insurrection against the United States? Of course not. My well of sympathy for those types of people are completely gone. So if somebody does get killed at a rally like that and people are expecting sympathy instead of jokes about it, nah, absolutely not.
At the risk of not repeating myself, I'll just say this. I agree with the underlying sentiment and frustrations that Destiny has, but I also think that if you're trying to make a greater point about conservatives and how they conduct themselves, mimicking their actions probably won't be entirely effective. I don't think conservatives have been too responsive to it, and I don't think it does anything but feed into the division in the country, which, to be fair, Destiny has talked about as well, saying that conservatives make no effort to bridge the gap, something I would say the left is almost equally as responsible for personally. I don't know, maybe he sees something that I don't, but I don't think this seems effective to me. But I want to shift gears now and talk about some of the reactions to this whole thing because it's been pretty funny. I first wanted to highlight a few examples of the hypocrisy we've seen from these people pearl clutching on Twitter. The Quartering, who I mentioned earlier, you know, the guy who drunkenly pissed in his basement, he was pearl clutching about making fun of Trump's attempted assassination, only for days later to make jokes about Biden dying of COVID, which is fine by me, but the clear lack of self-awareness is truly what offends me about this. Jessica Bowman, also pearl clutching about Destiny mocking the man who died, not even a week later would make a joke about Sheila Jackson Lee dying from severe late-stage Trump derangement syndrome. Once again, no consistency. If you want to make fun of people dying, that's fine with me, but you can't say it's immoral when you do it too. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that Destiny was actually demonetized on Twitter and banned from Kick for his comments about the assassination attempt. Now, I've already talked on this channel before about how Kick is not a free speech platform and I never considered them to be one, so I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, but Tim Pool reacted to this by saying, it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. It's insane. It's like they're literally using all the woke SJW talking points, like you can't make this shit up. And it's funny because Tim Pool supposedly is all in favor of free speech. It's also funny how Elon Free Speech Musk demonetized him for this, but it's even funnier how his excuse for this was, it's not me, it's the advertisers, when he literally said that he apparently doesn't give a fuck about advertisers.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself.
I don't care if you disagree with me because I understand that within my own mind, I could potentially be brainwashed or misguided or wrong or even evil in how I engage with politics without even realizing it. I don't think most people can say that, but at least I can. But what I do care about is being consistent. That's what really bothers me here. I mean, if you want to make fun of people dying, go for it. If you want to defend freedom of speech, go for it. If you wanted to platform people, go for it. But be consistent at the very least because I can't take you seriously when you do. And that's why Destiny's engagement with this whole situation hasn't been entirely perfect in my eyes. Because it feels like, in my opinion, matching their energy seems very counterproductive. I'm sorry this video was so political. Hopefully the next one won't be. But I'm curious what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Try not to start any debates down there, please. Actually, now that I think about it, that would boost my engagement, so please start debating in the comments. And until next time, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe for epic sex. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. See ya.